The first look of the story shows a school, where a professor named Nagi, who seems very popular among the students, is greeted by them. "Good morning," lovingly. He is a red-headed man. The girls, including Asuna, gather around him to a talk. But Professor isn't an ordinary man. He is quite powerful, and even his sneeze can blow things away. So he sneezes, and then actually blows quite a few cloths of the girls around. He apologizes for the incident, but Asuna is not in the mood to forgive him and punch him hard, thinking he did it on purpose. While this is happening, a girl seen sitting in a classroom, all alone. Her name is Evan Aka McDowell. She is a vampire and has been alive for more than 700 years. She is immortal, but doesn't see it as a gift, as it has its highs and lows. Mostly she had been very lonely when she left everyone. Evan, who is lost in thought, snaps out of it when a boy calls her. She looks exactly like a professor, and students calls her with the name Yuki. This is the name she is going with now. After 80 years, Yuki, who looks older than she was 80 years ago, now is a college professor in a school. Later on, as she is walking towards her class, a group of boys, Toa and his friends, decides to ambush her, but as they jump out of the tree where they are hiding to attack Yuki, they are stopped by an invincible wall, and before they can get to her, she punches them away into the water. Soon, she is in the class and tell everyone that, if they can defeat her, only then, they are allowed to go to the capital. She makes fun of Toa and his group for thinking she can be easily defeated, and then Toa decides to ask her what sort of barrier does she use to block off their attack. But she doesn't reply. They suspect that she used magic, but Yuki is not ready to answer. She rather snaps at Toa again, punishing him with chores 3 more times, and throws them out of the window. Later, Yuki's co-worker tell her that she is going a little too harsh on the boys, because at this age, they do want to see the capital. Actually, in reality, Yuki is Toa's foster parents, and that's the reason she is hard on him, although he tell her to calm down a little. Meanwhile, Toa and his friends talks about Yuki using magic. Apparently, magic is no longer a thing now. However, there is an app that allow everyone to use magic, but it's really expensive. Toa dreams to defeat Yuki and go to the capital, where there is a tower called Orbital Elevator, which he wishes to climb, and they all wishes the same, and decides to do that together. After a brief discussion, Toa goes to his parents for a visit. He says that although he is doing pretty well now, but he still doesn't remember his parents' faces. His parents died in a car crash 2 years ago, and he even lost all his memories because of that crash. And since then, Yuki has been the one taking care of him. She adopted him at the tender moment and has been with him since then. And yes, they both are getting along finally. As he turns his back on the tombs, the name written on the tomb is revealed. It's Negi. And as he is about to leave, a red-headed guy shows up to tell him that he is waiting for him at the top of the tower. The guy disappears before he could ask anything else. That night, Toa and Yuki enjoys the dinner cooked by him, after which Toa begs Yuki to teach him magic, but she refuses. She tells him to continue training hard with his martial arts. The following morning, Toa and his friends try to take on Yuki once again, but they fail, as usual, and Yuki tell them they have no chance to defeat her. The 5 are thinking what to do, when one of their professor, Tachi, shows up to lend the help. He offers to teach them magic. He then hands them a magic app and says they can use this to defeat Yuki, and they actually generate fire from the app. But then, they ask why does he want to help them. Tachi says that he don't want his student to hold back, and he wises them to see the capital and explore. But the app doesn't work for Toa, and Tachi tells him that he has no affinity for magic, but assure him that there is another way, and he gives him a bracelet and tell him to give it to Yuki as present. Later in the night, Toa is still thinking how he is going to give Yuki the bracelet. Suddenly, she shows up, baffling Toa completely, and he awkwardly tells her that the bracelet is hers. He doesn't know how to explain further, but he tells her that it is a gift for her, and then runs away from there. Yuki picks up the bracelet and wears it. After some time, Yuki is leaving from a mall when Toa's friends appears behind her with the use of teleportation magic. They bind her and are happy that they are about to finally defeat her, but she doesn't take it seriously and even laughs at them. Suddenly, Professor Tachi shows up and reveals his true color. He knocks the student out. He suddenly conjures several spears to attack you. She tries to use her magic, but the bracelet blocks her from doing that. He explains that he is a bounty hunter and is there to terminate Yuki. She finds it hard to move because the bind's holding her down. Tachi then brings out his sword and goes after Yuki, but Toa shows up just in time to block his attack. He is still telling Tachi to leave Yuki alone, but then Tachi charges on him with a speed and cuts off his arm. He is about to finish Toa with another attack. but Yuki blocks his strike. Even though she is bound in spears, Tachi is surprised to see Yuki moving, but her will to protect Towa is the reason she is able to move. But this doesn't stop Tachi. He cut her into pieces immediately, splashing the blood on Towa's face. Towa screams out of pain, but Tachi even pushes his sword into him to end his life too. He then moved towards Towa's friends to finish them too. And Towa, who's dying, wonders, "Is this how I die? Without having done anything in my life?" Just then, Yuki's head speaks out to Towa, and this surprises him. She then tells him a truth, that he is special, and this is a reason he isn't dead yet. She tells him that 2 years ago, she turned him into an immortal monster. When she saved him in that crash, he has a choice to activate what is already inside him. To activate the powers, he has to drink her blood of his own will. Towa makes his choice and licks the blood on the floor, and he gets the power to move again. As Tachi is about to kill the boy, Towa tells him to leave his friends alone, or else he will be killed. They charge towards each other, but Tachi knocks him down. Tachi gets scared. When Towa's hand gets reattached to his body, he powers himself up and delivers a fatal blow to his body to completely knock him down. After he has done this, he collapses right there. A moment before passing out, he sees a young girl walk over to him, and when he wakes up, his head is on Yuki's lap. He sees that he is alive and so is Yuki. She tells him that his friends are fine too, but Towa is confused on how it happened, so Yuki finally reveals her true identity. She explains that she is a vampire, and his parents didn't die in a car crash, but she fulfilled his parents' dying wish to save him. She selfishly gave Towa the immortality curse. Towa realizes that he cannot die anymore, and doesn't see it as a curse, although it is a curse to Yuki, but Towa gets happy that he will get to spend the rest of his life with Yuki, as she is the only family he has. Later on, Yuki and Towa leave from the place, as it is no longer safe for Yuki, and now Towa is forced to say goodbye to his friends, and hope that they will meet at the tower one day. When Yuki asks him why he wanna go to the tower, Towa sees the red-head man again, but lies to Yuki that he just wishes that. Finally, they both heads for the capital. As they continue walking, Towa realizes that most of the land is uninhabited. Yuki tells him that this is because of the declining population, which is a trend all over the world. Towa then asks why aren't we using a means of transportation, and Yuki answers that they might come across bounty hunters, which might lead to bloodshed. He gets it, and is really happy that they are heading to capital, and this is because he will get to make a lot of friends there. They take a quick break, and Towa wanna take a dip in the amazing waterfall he sees, and Towa jumps into water to have a bath. He allows the current to continue flowing him. He ponder deeply into this whole new immortality he got. He realized that he will always be 14, while all his friends will grow up. He suddenly stops when he run into an obstacle, and when he looks up, he sees that it's actually a human. The lady gets furious at him and kicks Towa out of the water. Towa casually says that, "Are you a woman?" But the person claims that she isn't a woman, and Towa apologizes for just assuming seeing the pretty face. The guy then introduces himself as Kuro, and he is impressed with Towa because this is the first time that someone has dodged his attack. Kuro explains that she came from the tower and headed to capital. Towa is impressed when he hears this, and asks him for details. Towa immediately knows that Karu's family is rich enough for them living at the top of the tower, but Kuro says that he has been kicked out of his family, and he is forbidden to return until he finds a woman. Towa then asks, who is this woman that he is looking for? Kuro tells him that her name is Evan, who is a vampire, and currently is disguised as a much older woman. While he is saying this, Kuro realizes that Towa has no reflection in the mirror. Just then Yuki shows up with drinks, and Karu immediately recognizes her as the woman he is after. He charges towards her with his sword, but she easily blocks the attack with one finger. She recognizes Kuro as one of her longtime enemies. Towa demands to know what is happening, so Kuro explains that he is from a clan, the Figuri, that hunts immortals. He lets Towa know that he is aware that he is a vampire too. Towa gets sad hearing it, because he hoped to become friends with him. But then Kuro powers himself up and tries to attack Yuki again, but she simply pushes her hand in his chest, killing him right there. Towa is shocked to see this. He holds Yuki's collar and scolds her for killing a boy, but Yuki tells him to calm down and take a closer look. Towa looks down to see that Kuro's chest is already healing. It turns out that Kuro is also immortal. Finally, Kuro wakes up and says he need to defeat Evan, although Towa both of them to take a break. But Kuro recalls the condition his brother gave him before kicking him out that if he doesn't take down Yuki, he can never return back to the clan again. Yuki then makes a deal with him. She says she will be open to fight him, only if he take down her student To. Kuro accepts the deal, and he instantly starts attacking To, which he dodges. He keeps striking him, and finally Toa says that if this is what he want, so he has a condition. Whoever loses the fight gets to fulfill one wish that the winner wants. He also says that it's unfair that he is weaponless. So Kuro instantly uses magic and provide him a weapon, and agrees with his condition, and the fight begins, with Toa landing a kick on Kuro's face. As the fight proceeds, the two are clearly seen strong and equal match to each other. Even Yuki is surprised to see them, and wonders they are better than she thought. The fight persists with intensity, but suddenly, Karu chops off To's head, believing that he ended the fight, but To grabs his head and reattach it to his body. He uses this as a surprise attack and knocks Karu to the floor, defeating him, but gets scared that he might not wake up from the attack. But Karu gets back on his feet after healing and accepts his defeat. Toa then makes his wish and extend his hand out. He says he wanna be friends with him, and Karu has no choice but to accept the deal. They even sign a contract to seal the deal. Later on, Toa decides to take a bath, although Karu still hesitates to take a bath with Toa, which lead him to ask if he is really a boy. Earning a shot again, soon they both have a bath together. Toa then asks about his hunter's clan and why he was thrown out. Karu explains that the reason he was kicked out was because he is immortal. Toa asks him why would he wish to be with people like that, and suggests he should travel with them. He suggests we are a bunch of immortals who can hang together till we get bored. But Kuro drift his hand, turn around and rejects the idea. After this, Toa suggests that they climb up the cliff to check out the women's bath. He knows that Yuki will be there and wanna sneak peek it, but Kuro doesn't wanna do that and says, I am not interested seeing anyone naked. To says he isn't interested in Yuki too, but he still wanna go up because he really wanna climb that cliff. Kuro doesn't want to do this because Yuki is known as one of the deadliest vampire in the history, but To knows this and doesn't care. He climbs up and get inside the women bath, only to see a young girl sitting alone. He recognizes her, as she was the girl he saw before collapsing after fighting Tachi. Actually, the girl is Yuki herself, and then she changes back to her older self. She then explains that that's what her natural self is, and she has been using aging medicine to make herself bigger. She then tells him that coming to a women's bath is absolutely inappropriate, and gets angry and attacks To, making a blast in water. She then uses the ancient magic, forming a big circle, and splashes the ice spears to hit him, and suddenly he falls off the cliff. Karu sees Toa falling to the ground, and decides to help. He climbs up and saves Toa, but then, he later realizes that there is no point in saving him because he is actually a immortal, so he throws Toa up again. And finally, Karu smiles seeing the two of them fighting and agrees to be his friend willingly. Anyway, Karu agrees to travel with Toa and Yuki further, and Yuki even suggests him to be her student so that one day he can be strong enough to beat her. Finally, Karu agrees, and the trio decides to continue their journey to the capital. As they walk further, Toa suggests that there must be a lot of immortals out there just like them. Yuki agrees, so he suggests that they should gather others immortals too, so that they can have a team which can help people for greater cause. As they have so much powers, it will be a waste if we don't serve it for good. Yuki laughs hard hearing that. She says, Samanon she knew once said the same thing a long time ago. She isn't finished talking when a bunch of cars arrive there. People in the car comes out and starts to pay homage to Yuki. They spread the red carpet to welcome her. One of the person who just arrived, Karen, threatens To to end his life for not respecting Yui, but Yuki tells her not to bother, as Toa is immortal too. Yui then explains to Toa that she already made an organization of immortals, and they are known as the UQ Holder. They get aboard a ship that will take them to the capital. On the ship, Karen wonders how was Yuki able to survive being with Toa for more than 2 years, because Karen sees him as a moron. But Yuki tells her that it would be best for her to get along with Toa, because both of them are probably the strongest among everyone. Karen crushes the cup in her hand, because she refuses to believe that they soon reaches to the Palace of Immortals, which is 10 km away from shore of New Tokyo. It is a secret headquarters. The UQ holders are happy to see their leader Yuki back, and gets emotional saying they missed her so much. Meanwhile, Toa wonders if everyone in the group is immortal vampire like them. Just then UQ holder number 6, Cab, and number 10, Iko shows up. They explains to Toa that all the immortals are not necessarily vampires. Some of them are beast people, and some has even created immortality from virtual realities. He further adds that He has heard about Toa and Kuro and asked if they are looking forward to join this organization. Toa is actually excited to join in. Cab lets out that there are monsters living under the palace, so before joining the organization, they will have to pass a test. Toa guesses that he will have to beat the monsters and gets ready, but Cab says that Yuki changed that plan and now Toa will have a duel with one of them. He can use any weapon and only has to strike once in order to win and join the organization. Toa finds it pretty easy. Karen shows up ahead and says she would like to fight Toa, while Kuro will fight Cab. Toa wastes no time in attacking Karen, but she easily knocks him to the ground with her hammer. Now, it is Kuro's turn against Cab. The fight between two appears easy for Cab, and Kuro gets exhausted before long. After a long battle, Kuro and Toa sits down to talk about their battle experience. Toa who rattle that no matter what he does, he just cannot beat Karen, while Kuro talks about her experience that Cab is not even using any weapon, but just his instincts, which is enough to beat him. As the two of them are talking, a girl carrying loads passes by and suddenly trips down, causing her to fall down. Toa and Kuro immediately ask her if she needs help, and it turns out that she is carrying trash. So they help her out and throws everything in the dustbin. The two tell the girl that they are there to join UQ Holder. They then introduces themselves to each other and the girl says she is Shino, who is not an immortal. Toa is taken aback thinking this headquarters have normal people too. Toa asks Shino that if she has any other work because he would love to help. Although Kuro remind him about their test, but he simply says, we will train hard to pass it. Meanwhile, Yuki is in her office, thinking how Toa will pass the test. She remembers that Toa is Niga's grandson, and he once faced the same kind of test, and had all the schoolgirls cheering for him, and she wonders how his grandson, Toa, will manage to pass the hurdle. Meanwhile, Kuro and Toa are helping Shino. They carry some boxes that are meant to be in the storeroom. While they are searching for the storeroom, they spot a door and get inside it, which leads them to the basement. Kuro tell him to go back, as this doesn't seem like a storeroom, but he continue going. They finally reaches the basement, and he realize Karu was right. They look around and is amazed to see the place. They even see a sword stuck on the ground. Just then a guy shows up. He introduces himself as UQ Holder. Number 2, Jinbi. The two realize that he must be very powerful as he holds number 2 position. Jinbi then show the boys sword that's stuck into the brick. He tell Toa to try to pull it up and says that the sword will be Toa's if he pulls it up. He explains that this sword belonged to the great mage, Albero. He then turned to Kuro and asked, you can materialize your own sword, right? But Toa needs a weapon. Toa tries to act smart saying, it's a hustle carrying a weapon, isn't it? He tell him that countless man has tried pulling that sword, but failed. So Toa walks towards it and give it a shot, but is unable to do it. Suddenly, he hears a voice that tell him how to remove the sword. He touches a dial on the sword and takes it out easily. This shocks the man, and he asks how did he do that. Toa tells Jinbi that someone told him to rotate the dial, but suddenly he hears the sword speaking. It turns out that the sword's name is Kobo, and it hasn't been wielded in a long time. It is said that the sword chooses its own wielder. After pulling it out, Jinbi tell Toa not to be cocky, just because he pulled it, because he still have to master it before he claims it. Jinbi then throws it back to Toa, only now the sword is too heavy for him that even breaks his wrist, but thank God, he is immortal now. Jinbi picks the sword and start telling its functions. The sword has the gravity options that can be changed at will. It can become extremely heavy. Jinbi demonstrate it to Toa. He splash a power attack at them and tell him that if he can manipulate this much amount of weight by his sheer will, then even a small attack can do a major destruction. Jinbi tell them that they both need to practice hard, that too in the basement itself, and their practice begins as days passes by. Toa and Kuro continues to train, while Jinbi reports it to Yuki, who is still suspicious if they will pass the test. The intensity of the training is really hard, and after some days, Kuro and Toa decides to challenge their opponent. Kuro challenge Cab that she will get a strike before sunset today, while Toa challenges Karen, but no more surprised attack now. As Toa attacks with his sword, Karen immediately recognizes the gravity sword and is impressed. Meanwhile, Cab admits that Kuro's accuracy has increased since the last time. However, Cab still doesn't see Kuro having any chance against him. As their fight progresses, Cab strikes at him non-stop, but he instantly thinks about his prom ease to Toa, and he immediately thinks what Toa would do if he was in his position. He gets an idea, and at the same time, Cab cuts off his hand. Cab is about to relax that he won, but then he realizes that a sword has pierced him from behind. He figures out that Kuro can actually move any part of his body, even if it's severed from the rest. With this trick, Kuro finally wins the match. Cab falls to the ground, and a virtual icon displays on the screen to show that he has lost a life. He then stands up and says it's been a long time since he lost his life, and then congratulate Kuro for winning. Meanwhile, the fight between Karen and Towa is still going. Karen is surprised to see To's speed. Meanwhile, Shino, who stands at a distance, cheers for To. Unknown to her, a monster is ready to approach her. On the other hand, Towa gives it all, and uses the gravity function of the sword. He lands a power attack on Karen, which he cannot resist. He is about to land a deciding blow, but just then, he hears Shino's scream from a distance, so he leaves Karen and runs. Towa finds Shino is surrounded by the monsters. He is about to engage with them, when Karen shows up for help. She offers to lead the monsters away, so that Towa have a chance at rescuing Shino. Karen powerfully launches on the monsters, and lead them away. And why lead? Ing all of them away, one monster turned towards Shino, but then Towa jumps in to rescue immaterially, killing it away, and then takes Shino to safety. Soon Kuro and Cab gets there, hearing the voice, after which, Towa switches the dial on his sword up to 50,000 and jumps on the group of monsters to terminate all of them at once. The effects of the damage leaves a crater on the ground. After everything is settled, Karen tells Yuki that Towa has defeated him, and now he can be added to the UQ holder. Although, he forgot to make a final strike at Karen, but still Karen adds that he will count it as a strike. Towa gets super happy and excited, but Karen set the boundary saying, I am your senior, so treat me like that. Meanwhile, Yuki gives Towa and Kuro the mission to defeat all the monsters in the basement, and throws them straight in there. Yuki knows that Kinbi has due to something with everything happening in the basement, and forces him to join them as well. Soon afterwards, Kuro and Towa are called to Yuki's office. They are informed that she has a mission for them. The two says that they hold no experience yet, and Karen agrees with that, but Yuki tell Karen that she will have to go along with the two, although Karen disapprove of it, but accepts eventually. She briefly tell Towa that she will keep an eye on him. Yuki inform them that this mission was originally for Karen only, and the two of them will be assisting her, so this is a perfect opportunity for Towa and Kuro as beginners. And Towa is already excited and happy that he will be going on his mission, that too in a car, but soon he finds out that they are trekking and running to their scene. On the way to the scene, Karen reveals details of the mission. She tells them that there are a group of people who plan to eradicate the slums and the poor of the countryside. They wish to eradicate them without a trace, but the UQ holders are there to stop this, because the UQ holders work for people who are not usually accepted in the society. Soon Towa jumps off the cliff and arrives at the church. He immediately stands in between to stop the invasion and knocks them out without even realizing that they aren't the invaders, but the people from UQ holder itself. Afterwards, the trio decides to live with the poor people for some more days, and Towa is given the duty to cook. Everyone loved his cooking and the meal he prepared. They start to wonder if he is a chef. Karen appreciates him as well, and says, this is the only skill worth appreciation in Towa. Although he gets pissed hearing that, they then decides to arm wrestles against him, and obviously, he loses from everyone, so he is the new cook there. Towa cannot understand, why is he losing? So Karen tell him about the flash skill he lacks for winning the arm wrestle. Towa wastes no time in training for the skill, so that he can be faster than he actually is. While he is practicing his slash step skill, a guy shows up and hits Towa into the trash behind him. He tell him that Towa is doing it all wrong, and that he isn't doing flash step at all. He tell Towa that he is a marital art professional, and that Towa is just leaving the dust everywhere, without getting anything tangible. Then the guy gives Towa an example of how he is supposed to move. He actually have trained so much to reach to this level, where he cover a long distance, without even spreading any dust. Towa is super impressed seeing him. Not just this, but the guy tell Towa that this technique can win anyone in arm wrestling. He immediately draws something on board. He explains that when you have a flash step technique, you get natural strength from earth. Towa finds it really vague and fishy, earning another punch from the guy. The guy then shows him another example on how he can use his feet to grab the earth. The guy demonstrates it again, using the earth's power. He jumps in the sky and lands back. He then says that his name is Kato, and he really liked Towa. He says that he will teach him the flash step. There are two techniques in it, and Kato will only teach him the first one. Later, Towa, who really want to learn the grabbing skill, even prepares the meal with his feet, and that too end up being delicious. He even eats it with his feet. The next day, Toa has improved quite a lot, as the dust left behind after he uses the technique is very less. But Kota still tell him that his grabbing skill isn't that good still, and shows him how it is done again. He strictly tell that he need to use his feet effortlessly, like he uses his fingers. Everyone notices Toa using his feet, even for brushing his teeth. The next we see Kota meeting with another guy, named Nagumo. Kato tell him about Toa and his skills, and how he has been training him, but Nagumo warns him about getting attached to Toa. But Kota assures him that he is only messing around a little, and then changes into his real self, which is a wolf form. It turns out that Kota and his comrades are the immortal hunters, and are planning to eradicate Toa and his comrades. Sometime later, Toa gets some food for the guards, who are guiding the area, but suddenly, they are attacked by a bunch of masked people. At the same time, Karen, who is enjoying the shower, is sneakily attacked in the bathroom by a strange guy. But Karen still figures it out and strike back him. He seems to be one of the immortal hunters, who do create some tension for Karen. But still Karen suggests the guy to leave, if he still values his life. But he doesn't listen, and opt to attack her instead. He starts fighting with Karen, and even gives her a sharp cut on the neck. Karen immediately strikes back and pushes him out. But suddenly, the guy brings a gun and pushes it into Karen's mouth, causing her pain. The guy figures out that Karen might be immortal, but she still feels pain. He then introduces himself as Chio, a member of the private security firm known as Powerful Hand, and his work is to delay Karen on helping others. Meanwhile, Toa, who is talking to a boy from slums, finds out that the slums are on fire. The masked men are burning everything out. As Toa is about to find the clue about the fire, suddenly they are attacked by the same bunch of mask holders who took out the guards. Luckily, Kuro shows up to assist Toa and also tell him everything. Kuro says that the masked people are the shadow dolls that are being controlled by someone. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the wolf shows up and Nagumo accompanies him too. Toa then tells the little boy Rookie to leave and take care of the chaos that is ravaging the town. Suddenly, the wolf charges at Toa and hits him with the crucifixion spell and takes him out of the commission. Kuro is then left to face off with the enemies, and she has no other option but to fight the wolf and Naguma inside the bathroom. Chio is still busy dealing with Karen. He uses his tendrils to tie her up. Then the masked doll shows up. Karen immediately realizes that these are the shadow dolls controlled by Chio. Somehow, he uses an electric knife on Karen, causing her immense pain, and she screams. Out of the pain, on the other hand, Karu is holding himself strong before the enemies. The wolf is strong, but Karu is ready to put everything he has into the fight. Suddenly, the wolf appears beside him, using super speed and hits him into the ground. Wolf immediately understands that Kuro's body can regenerate quicker than his own. He then uses the flash step and approaches him faster than he could see. When Kuro gets to the ground, the wolf attacks several heavy blows to him and eventually throwing him away. Karen, Toa, and now Kuro, each of them seems to be badly hurt. Kuro falls beside Toa and can clearly sees that he is unable to move because of the seal that has been carved into him by the wolf. Toa is a vampire, and this makes the seal works even more. The wolf then pins Kuro down with some iron pillars and adds ice to it. He calls him the little lady. This hints us that Kuro might be a girl. Suddenly Rookie comes back and stands between the wolf and wounded Kuro, and Kuro screams at him to leave. In a flashback, we see a town in southern Europe. A poor girl became a target of witch hunting. But no matter, the villagers did, the girl wasn't hurt, even after burning her down. She was unharmed, but then an unknown girl came out of nowhere and took the girl along with her. Back in the present, Chio dictates this story and tell Karen that the girl was you, isn't it? He knew this already, because he has been monitoring her. He knows everything about her, and with that, he put the electric dagger even deep in her. He talked thrash to her, saying, even after struggling so much, she is here protecting some slum kids, which is pathetic. He has grown obsessed with her, and he calls it love. Meanwhile, the battle outside the house continues. Rookie runs to attack the wolf, but poor boy is grabbed onto the wolf's hands, and he doesn't mind killing the boy because it's his job. Suddenly Rookie asks, why the hell are you doing this? Naruto tell him that they are the mercenaries who have been hired by those who have been living at the top of the tower to take out the poor people living illegally on their lands, and everything the wolf is doing, he counts it as a part of his job. The wolf is about to end Rookie's life just when Kuro removes the pillar, holding him down, and flies towards Rookie's direction to save him. However, something extraordinary happens in the process. They find out that someone else blocked the wolf's attack, and it turns out that he is none other than Towa himself. Now in the bathroom, Chio continues tormenting Karen until she kicks him hard to cause him pain. He falls down, and Karen starts to shine to indicate that she is powered by the Almighty. This surprises Chio, because Karen is a vampire and should be cursed. But she isn't cursed, but blessed from the divine being himself. She then knocks Chio to the wall, and beats him up till he no longer moves. She then leaves Chio to die at the ground. Meanwhile, everyone is surprised to see Towa moving, and wonders how is he able to move with that seal imprinted in him. His arms is also emanating some sort of dark aura. Naguma asks Towa if he has any idea what the power on his hand is, but Towa says no, and then Towa warns him that he will not spare him for lending his hand on his friends. And the wolf immediately charges at him, but Towa easily delivers a punch before he can even react to it. But Wolf is still happy that he finally have someone strong to fight. Towa then asks Kuroan how much more time he need to heal, and as he is speaking, Wolf attack again, but this time also, Towa's battle instincts help him to hit the wolf back. Towa then asks Kuru to leave with Rookie to a safe place, while he deals with Naguma and Wolf. Just then, Karen shows up there as well. She offers to deal with Naguma, while Towa battles the wolf. Towa could easily figure out that the wolf is none other than Kota himself. This is because of his ability to use Flash Step. When he realized that he has been found out, the wolf changes back his normal self. Kota is finally ready to fight Towa, and is hyper to go against him. Without talking a lot, the two charges at each other, but as they punch each other, Kota realizes that Towa has mastered the Flash Step more Kota even expected. Kota tries everything, even hidden attacks, but still Towa manages to crack it and hit him hard. Kota is so impressed with Towa that he offers him to be his ally in the middle of the fight, but Towa absolutely denies it. So now the fight get to a stage where Kota decides to use the hidden technique he hasn't shown to Towa. He make a stance and runs towards Towa with a skill that he didn't train him. Towa has no reaction time for this, and the next thing he sees is Kota's hand inside his chest. Kota calls this technique the Bright Piercing Judgment. This is a technique by which he can get to the immortal's heart and shatter it into pieces. But suddenly, some sort of dark aura emerges from Towa's body, and this is enough to get his heart started again. He pushes Kota off, making him lose his one hand in the process. Naguma recognizes this power and he calls it Magia Arabia, which is a dark magic that holds the ultimate secret of immortality. The wielder is bestowed with extraordinary power, but there is a risk that their soul will be consumed. Only 2 people have been on record to use this power, and one of them is Eevee. On and second is the man considered as the greatest mage in the world. Naguma has met them once, and this was when he knew the true extent of his power. He was the strongest. Meanwhile, Towa grabs Kota by his neck and throws him into the distance. Naguma says that his negative emotions are making him even powerful. Naguma wants to step in, but Rin stops him. She says that Towa is their responsibility, and they are the only one who can stop him. Towa is about to terminate Kota, but he manages to control himself and get rid of Magia Arabia magic before it completely takes over him. Kota is surprised to see this, and he tells Towa to terminate him, but Towa refuses. But he is already weak and trembling because of this. Kota tells him that this darkness is the source of his mortality. He says that, I am fully recovered now, but Towa corrects him saying, we both are beaten up at the same level. Although Kota accepts that he lost, but Towa isn't cool with that, because he believes that that wasn't him who fought back there, so they decide to settle their fight by engaging in an arm wrestling challenge. Kota plans to use the second technique he has hidden. He also declares to Towa that the second technique is nothing more than the winner mindset. It's believing that you are the best. As the coin flips, he hit Towa's hand, but Towa is able to hold it back. Using his sheer will, he lets out everything in his mind, and even try to confront Kota for what he is doing. He finally smashes Kota to the ground, thereby making him the winner of the challenge. Karen and Naguma are shocked that he managed to win even without Dark Aroma. Karen can clearly see that Towa has been underestimated by her. Meanwhile, Kota asks Towa to kill him, but he denies again. After that, Naguma takes Kato back with him, because their mission is already completed, as the town is already at fire and there is no possible way to stop it. But then Yuki shows up and casts an ice spell that takes out the fire. Eventually it turns out that Yuki and Naguma knows each other. Towa asks how did she get to know about their plan, so she thanks Kuro for letting out the fireworks to reveal their location, but then Naguma brings out his sword and cuts open a portal for them and leaves without fighting. Towa then asks Yuki about how he got the Arabia energy in him, so she simply says that he has her blood in him, and this is the reason he is able to wield some of her secrets. Seeing Karen smile for the first time, Towa appreciates her, earning another shot from her, which makes everyone laugh. Meanwhile, there is someone watching everything happening to Towa from a giant monitoring screen. Later on, Kuro is holding Kurobo in his hands, and he asks the sword if it knows anything about the Magia Arabia, because he has a feeling that something isn't right about that dark aura. The sword says that it knows a little about it, as much as Yuki told Towa the other day. But then the sword says suddenly that, I know that Kuro have some feelings for To. Kuro denies this completely, and throws Kurobo away before running. On the other hand, Shino has built a machine that she plans to use in competing in Solar Race, and Towa is clearly very impressed with her skills. They take a ride of it. Shino, who plans to build more machines, so that she can win the Solar Race competition next year. Towa gets super pumped to hear that, and says he is rooting for her. Kuro, who is at a distance, watching their interaction with some jealousy. Later, Kuro is bathing and thinking about Towa and wonders, why is he feeling this way? Just then, Karen goes in his room to tell her that she has some mission for him. She opens the door when he is busy dressing up, only to find out that he is actually a girl pretending to be a boy. Kuro gets all flustered and begs Karen not to tell To about this. She then explains about it. Kuro is a demi-human, a member of what is called as the Yata no Karasu. They remain genderless until they reaches adulthood, and then they get to choose the gender they want when they turn 16 years of age. Upon hearing this, Karen attacks Kuro and suggests that she chooses a female. When the time comes, she wants her to spend the rest of her life with To, so that he will not disturb Yuki, and she adds that she knows that Kuro is in love with To, but Kuro just denies it, and in a second of distraction, she looses from Karen. Eventually, Karen points her sword at her and says, "You will be cute if she turn out to be female." Just then, a guy, who has been sitting in the distance and hearing everything, comes down. Kuro gets nerves, thinking Iko has heard everything, but he assures her that her secret is safe with him. He also has some plans to help Kuro. Meanwhile, Towa wonders, where did Kuro go? And just then, a girl comes there. Actually, it was the plan of Iko. To set Kuro on a date with Towa, dressing her up like a girl, so that she can decide her feelings better, and so that Towa doesn't recognize her. They even color her hairs to Towa preference. With her new appearance, she is able to easily fool Towa, and says that she is Kuro's sister. She then tells Towa that she is here for a short time, so she need a tour of the town. Although Towa is shocked to hear that, she wanna go only with him, but then eventually agrees, making Kuro really happy. Iko and Karen are happy that the plan worked. Iko soon realized that he is in trouble, because he is the one to complete the task that Kuro was supposed to do. Then, Towa get the permission from Shino to borrow the vehicle she just made, so that it can take them into the town. Just then Towa spots a girl sitting down at a distance. Shino tell them that the girl lives on the top floor of the tower. Towa wonders if she is also a UQ holder. Anyway, Towa and Kuro leaves in the motor boat Shino made. They find their way to the town in the boat. Kuro seems really happy to be having some time alone with Towa, and we can easily see how caring he is with everything. Finally, they reaches to the town and start spending some good time together. While walking together, Kuro mentions that she never thought she will have so much fun seeing the capital, and looks forward to the day. Just then, Kuro trips down and break her sleeper, and Towa quickly tries to fix it for her. Seeing Towa so close, Kuro really blush and gets nervous. She hides her face out of nervousness and tell Towa that she also wanna go to the tower, and which he happily agrees to. Meanwhile, there is a guy stalking the two, and he appears to be dangerous. Meanwhile, Kinbi is sitting with Yuki and talking about the Arabia magic. Yuki is actually worried about To's dark aura, although she knows he has gotten it from her, but still has something to worry about. Kinbi cannot understand what's the cause of worry and starts making fun of her. This pisses Yuki and she is about to use a powerful attack. But then Kinbi seriously asks, "What is it that you fear?" That's when Yuki reveals that she fears a man. On the other hand, the white-haired guy who was monitoring To's every move learns that he has left for capital, so he is also ready to leave the capital. Meanwhile, as soon as Towa get to the tower, he starts rambling on how amazing the tower's height is and how he always wanted to do this. Also, Kuro is happy that she asked Dim to come here. He tell her that it's his dream to get to the top of this tower, and when she asks on why do he wish to go up there, he remembers the man who has always been disturbing him about it, but he tell her something else. He says that he promised his friends to climb the tower and do amazing things. He also tell her that he made friends here too, and Kuro is his best friend for life. This gives Kuro an impression that Towa is actually okay with him being a guy. But then she asks, do you not have any interest in women's? Immediately after which she gets flustered. Although, Towa adds that Kuro is really cute, which make her all red. This puts Kuro in a dilemma. He wonders if it will be best for him to become a girl, so that Towa can see him as a cute person. Kuro is about to confess his love for Towa. Just then, everyone's attentions gets to the sun. Knee weather again. Just then the stalker guy shows up and attacks Towa. The guy turns out to be Chiyo, and he is accompanied by Shadow Mage Asura. Towa sinks to the Shadow Realm and is binded by Chiyo, while Kuro tries to rescue him and try to wield the attack, but is knocked to the ground because of her inability to use her strength, as she isn't used to being a girl, and that's the reason. She is very weak at that moment. Chiyo, who has literally binded Towa completely, talks on how he was just ordered to check Towa's whereabouts, but now he is playing with him. Kuro realizes that they are going to kidnap Towa, and she need to do something about it, so she charges towards the two, and they find out that she is immortal too, so they don't hold back, and Asura knocks her out of the window. Kuro knows that she is no match for Asura in the type of body she is in right now. Kuro is then defeated by Asura. She finally falls down and Chiyo sinks her to the Shadow Realm too. He wants to take her with them to their boss. As Kuro is sinking down, she remembers the moments she spent with Towa today and sinks down. She wished for Towa's protection and care, and soon she get the strength enough to break the shadow magic and gets out in her full strength to throw out Chiyo of the building. She gets back in her true form, saying he will protect Towa till eternity and rescue him from the shadow magic. Asura also retreats from there because cops have arrived now. On the other hand, Towa wakes up when everything is calm and start asking about Kuryu. Kuro lies that he took care of everything and Kuryu is also safe. Towa then thanks him for saving him and Kuryu and says that, without him, he would be completely hopeless. Hearing that, Kuro makes a decision to pick which gender she wanna pick. Meanwhile, one of the UQ holders, Kiri, is seen performing a ritual over and over again. Just then Iko gets there and asks, why are you doing this ritual so many times? Is there any special occasion? She simply says, yes, something special is about to happen. Kuro and Towa soon return back to headquarters, and they are received by Iko and Karen. Karen takes Kuro at the side and asks, why are you dressed like a boy again? But he tells her that he will explain everything later. Soon, Towa recognizes Kiri as the girl who was playing in the sand earlier that day. As Iko tries to introduce her, Kiri says that she wants to talk to Towa in private. Kiri takes Towa to a private place. He asks, what happened, little Kiri? She turns around, starts scolding him for calling her little. Despite she is his senior in the organization, she scolds him to sit down right there and ask him to bark. And he does so, and then she tries to hit on his face. When Towa is done with her ridiculous instructions, she spins and holds her by collar. He demands to know what's wrong, so she says he failed to protect her. She screams at him to let her go, so he frees her up. She is about to continue explaining when she is attacked by a shadow mage, making her fall down instantly. Towa wants to go after the mage, but Kiri stops him and AKs him to hold her hand. He does exactly what she says, and they go back in time and return to Kiri when she was under the tree performing her ritual. Kiri then explains to him that she just turned back time the moment he held her hand. Meanwhile, Iko and Karen shows up asking Towa about Kiryu. Towa is about to tell them truth about the time travel when she hit him on the leg to keep him shut. She then asks Iko if he can take her back to capital. On the boat, Karen and Iko wonders what are Kiri's abilities, and Karen says that she have heard that Kiri can predict future. Kiri then explains to Towa that her power is not magic. It is the special power that only she can use. The sands she uses the special sand from the mountains that allows her to go back to her last save. If she is holding someone's hand when she dies, it allows her to take the person's soul with her. She is UQ holder number 9. Kiri. Even Karen doesn't know the true abilities of her. Towa is amazed to know about her abilities, as this makes her absolutely invincible. Kiri then explains that they have been through several playthroughs, and Towa has failed to protect her in each one. She says that she wanted to tell him what happened in her first playthrough. She tells Towa everything that he said during that span, how she had to go to the Tower of Orbital, and ask Towa to accompany her, and how Towa protected her from the shadow mage Chiyo, but still Chiyo keeps hiding and returning back from different portals to attack Kiri again. But luckily this time, Towa carried his sword along, which gave him an edge over Chiyo, and with that, he throws Chiyo out of the place, and Kiri then starts explaining that there is someone called Fate Avarice, who is considered the greatest mage of all the time, and he plans to kidnap Towa. Kiri also adds that she and Kuromaru was separated from Towa and Iko for just a little while, and were talking. Just then, Iko contacts her to move away from there, because an explosion has happened right there in the tower. Kuro ran towards the explosion, without settling down to hear what Kiri had to say. They get to the site, to find out that Fate Avarice is taking out Towa and the entire squad. He spins Karen out, kills Towa, and Kuro, who see this, runs to protect him but is killed instantly too. Fate then gets to Kiri and tells her that he is the legal owner of Towa and has come for him. Actually, he is the same white-haired guy who was stalking Towa. He is about to petrify Kiri entirely, but she quickly terminates herself, so she can reset everything again. Towa is shocked when he hear all this and asks who Fate is. She explains that Fate is one of the best mages to wield earth magic, who was once considered hero, but now is the biggest enemy of humanity. Towa then asks, why is he after me? Or why he said he was Towa's legal owner, but Kiri doesn't know anything about it, but she knows that everything will be over once Fate lay his hands on Towa. They are in the middle of the conversation when Echo and Karen shows up, who have heard everything, and now knows what Kira's powers are. She has been hiding her powers, because it might lead people knowing what her weaknesses are. Towa tell her not to worry because Iko and others will never harm her. Karen and others also join Towa for giving her their words that she is absolutely safe with them. Kiri then trusts the group with their words, and Towa tries to pat her lovingly. She gets annoyed and slaps her hard, but then she explains the plan to the group. She says that preventing Towa's kidnapping was just a annihilation plan. The plan is to engage with Fate, because she and Yuki knows where and when will he attack, and now they will be the one capturing Fate. They then make their way to the location where Fate will show up, and they start making plan, and Kiri tell Towa that he will lure Fate in. Kiri gives him a phone by which they will stay in touch with him, while Iko and Karen will be covering for the team. Also Kuro and Kiri will be on standby. Kuro needs to do his best to get Kiri behind Fate when he shows up. Once she is able to touch Fate, all of their troubles will be over, as they will take Fate to the basement under the facility of UQ headquarters, and it should take him a while before he figure out his way out of the basement. Iko asks Kiri to take all of them with her when the time comes, and she agrees to it, and ask all of them to gather around her when she dies. And if anyone misses the time, she clearly says that she will not wait for them, after which she asks everyone to get to their positions. The gets underway. Towa is to communicate with them via a smartphone. He asks Kiri why Yuki isn't there to help them, when she is clearly strong and will go a long way. Kiri explains that Fate will instantly know once Yuki is around, and that will ruin their plan as Towa is talking with the team. Someone in hoodie walks past him and hits him on the hands. Towa is more curious to know more about Fate, and just then a video of Yuki appears on his phone. She explains that Fate helped resolve an incident on Mars some 80 years ago, and this saved the world. Negi, who was Towa's grandfather, was there with him the whole time, but after Negi died 20 years ago, after which Fate's behavior changed and he became a threat to humanity. She says Fate is after Towa because of his relationship with Negi. Yuki tells Towa not to listen anything Fate says, and the video ends. Towa ponders on it and wonder, even if he is related to Negi, this doesn't explain why Fate is after him. Moments later, Fate shows up and everyone spots him in the bottom floor itself. Finally Towa spots him but is unable to fire the taser at him, because Towa's childhood friends from the countryside are walking besides Fate. They have no other choice but to wait it out and see what will happen. Kiri asks them to abort the plan, but Towa stands out straight saying, it's too late to abort now. Towa stands there until his friends notices him and run directly to him. Iko realizes that Fate is just some meters away from Towa's friends, and he can now attack him. He is about to attack when someone attacks Iko. Just as Towa is catching up with his friends, Fate puts his hands behind Towa's friends. Towa is already absolutely shocked and expecting something bad to happen, but Fate actually smiles and calmly introduces himself saying he is a longtime friend of his grandfather. His friends hear this and want to introduce themselves, but Fate already know who they are and says their name is Niku and Tana. He already have both of them under his control. Towa is shocked to see this and asks him to leave his friends, but Fate simply warns Towa that if he doesn't want him to cut down his friends along with everyone around, he simply should come with him. He has the power to do this, so Towa has no chance of challenging him. Know that he has Towa under his thumb. He asks him to tell his friends to leave their weapons and come out. He then again tells Towa to come with him and starts bashing Yuki, but Towa simply denies coming with Fate, and his sword come flying on Towa's hand. When Fate asks, what does he plan to do? Towa screams out loud, there is a terrorist over here. Everyone leaves from here. This serves as a distraction for Karen to get behind Fate and attack him, but he easily blocks the attack. Towa also charges from one end, but he blocks his attack too, and smiles. His smiles infuriates Towa, so he increased the weight of his sword, and he is able to use it to break through Fate's barrier. Fate's comrade sees it, and lets off his eyes from Iko, so this allows Iko to break free, and he fire the laser on Fate, but Fate manages to put up another barrier to stop laser attack. Just then Kiri shows up and jumps on Fate. She hugs him, and wait for some seconds for her comrades to join her. But this turns out to be their mistake, because Fate uses this opportunity to petrify Kiri. He literally makes fun of Yuki's comrades, and says they are out of options now. Karen then tells Towa that they should retreat now. Meanwhile, Iko continues to fire the laser to give his comrade a chance to run away, but Towa wants to stay and fight Fate. He believes that this is their chance to fight, not retreat. He feels Fate was his grandpa's friend. He must have some humanity still left in him. Just then another of Fate's comrade, Shaba, shows up to engage Karen. Meanwhile, Asura is also there to battle with Kuro. Asura, who remembers Kuro as the girl who fought earlier with him, but Kuro warns him not to mistake him as weaklings, as he is number 11 UQ holder, and Iko is also dealing one-on-one with the women who hit him earlier. The battle begins with each one of comrade fighting with their fellow comrades from other group. Karen knows that the right option is to retreat now, but enemies will not let them leave. Meanwhile, Towa charges at Fate with the flash step skill, but he easily deflects it and knocks Towa to wall. He appears right behind him, and releases a bunch of blades on him. Towa manages to dodge every single one, but lose his shirt in the process. Towa easily figures out that he is just not world's strongest magician, but also a martial artist. This makes him a magic martial artist. Towa then charges towards Fate, and changes the sword's weight at intervals to mess with him. As the battle progresses, Towa is actually able to break free all Fate's magic barrier, leaving him concerned. In the middle of all this, Towa receives a call from Karen telling him that there are some number floating on Kira's arm, and she doesn't understand it. He realizes that Kiri is up to something, so he suggests they should keep delaying Fate and his comrades till the number count down to 0, and then get back in battle with Fate. Towa now gets hit by Fate badly, and he says he will take Towa with him, if he like it or not. But then Towa trick him and uses his sword to push him down. Somehow, Towa is able to hold out till countdown reaches 0, and Fate realizes too late that Kiri has been working on petrification cure. Kiri grabs Fate, and the rest them join in. She successfully takes everyone back, and this is the 10th playthrough. Fate finds himself in the basement surrounded by Towa and his friends. Yuki is also there, and she makes fun of his for falling into the youngster's trap. Fate is ready to battle it out with Yuki. Although he is the world's strongest maze, he will also has to face 4 other immortals. Fate himself knows that too, so he doesn't want to stress himself up. So he offers them to let him go. As he says this, Towa screams, "Do you think we are fools? Who will let you go just like that?" Fate says that in return, he will answer any question. They accuse him truthfully, and each person get one question to ask, because he knows everything that there is to know. Towa is about to ask his question, but Karen immediately stops him. They tell him to wait till they have asked him their own questions, so they ask the most important questions. So Iko goes first and asks Fate, what do he wants with Towa, and he reveals that he is after Towa because he want to use his powers to revive Negi, his grandfather. Towa doesn't get it, because he thought his grandfather is dead already, but it turns out that it was a lie. Fate then tells Towa that that's the reason he wants Towa to come with him, because he just doesn't want to save his grandfather, but also everyone in the solar system. Then, Karen asks her questions too. She asks Fate who Negi loved more between him and Yuki. Fate is not able to give any direct answer to this. Not only him, but this question pisses Yuki too, and she orders Karen to report in her room after this mess is over. Fate tries to clarify things a little, but Yuki doesn't let him spell the beans, because, if he does, she will kill him, so he just says that Negi was a very famous man, especially among women's. Now it's Kuro's turn to ask, so he asks Fate, Is it a urgent matter that Toa has to accompany him now? Fate is impressed by her question and answer that, no, Toa doesn't have to accompany him immediately, because Negi will not die for next 20 years. Now it's Toa's turn to ask his question. So he asks Fate if he was the one who killed his parents, and Fate says, yes. Toa gets angry when he hears this, and he is ready to attack Fate. Suddenly a portal opens in that rooms, and his grandfather Negi pops out of it. It seems like a live image communicating from somewhere. Toa finally realized that the image that has been following him is none other than his grandfather. Negi greets Fate and Yuki, while Yuki communicates with Kuro via telepathy. She tells Kuro to look at Toa. There must be some device in his body that allows him to communicate with Negi. She orders him to get rid of that device, and as Negi and Toa is communicating, Kuro gets behind Toa and destroys the device. Before Negi could tell any truth, he gets dissolved. Fate and Yuki decides that it will be best if they hide the truth from Toa. Meanwhile, Toa keeps screaming for his grandpa to come back and tell him the truth. After the whole thing is over, Kiri and the group is sitting, but she gets really upset because they worked so hard to capture Fate, but Yuki let him go for free. Kiri also gets angry that she wasn't involved in the entire thing, even when catching Fate was all her plan. Meanwhile, Toa keeps pressuring Yuki to tell him the truth about his grandfather, but she simply ignores him and keeps walking, and she then closes the door on his face and says to herself how sorry she is for not letting out the truth. Shortly afterwards, an old lady and a girl shows up asking after Yuki and Toa, but the guards tell them that they cannot enter in without permission. Meanwhile, Toa is having a meal that Shino prepared. He is just enjoying his tea, just when the lady who just arrived banged in. She introduces herself Miso. She tells Shino to step away from Toa, and also says the same to Kuro and Kiri, who were just listening to their conversation. Miso claims that Toa is from a family of lady killers. Ladies who have always been fond of the Negi Springfields, and Miso's great-grandmother was one of the victims, and she is there to make sure that no other lady falls into their trap again. She then charges towards Toa and spin him up, but then Toa throws her to full force, causing her to fly into a distance, but Toa flies towards her and grabs her. He really appreciates her move, making her fully blush, but then he put her down on the roof, and Miso reveals the real reason she is there. She is there to ask Toa to be her groom, which shocks everyone around, but Toa humbly refuses, because it's too sudden, which makes Miso go flustered. On the other hand, Miso's great-grandmother is in Yuki's office, and the old lady and Yuki are discussing things. The two know each other from college. Back in college, when Nagi was the professor, they recalls how all the girls were always trying to talk to Negi lovingly, and Miso's grandmom was one of the girls too. The girls back them always wanted to have Negi for themselves. All the time, they were always wishing to be the first ones to feed Professor Negi. Meanwhile, Miso has prepared a full-course meals for Toa, and is trying to win his love. Kiri and the rest of the girls are sneaking at how Miso is making her move towards Toa. The girls are shocked to see the bandages at Miso's hands, and realizes that, despite being completely unskilled, Miso is preparing food all by herself, and they are worried that Miso will actually win over Toa, and she isn't even showing the pain she had to go through, but letting Toa enjoy the food. Kiri falls to her knees, but still doesn't want to accept that she loves Toa. Karen believes that human girls have advantage over immortal girls. She says that human girls have short duration of youth, but they blossom like fresh flowers, and are very charming. But on the other hand, they are just artificial flowers, who may appear young forever, but are just imitation of real scent. This breaks Kira's heart, because she realizes that their chances of winning Toa over are declining. Just then Iko shows up and tells the girls that he has a solution to their problems. The solution he is putting forward for them is to spend time with Toa at the hot springs and scrub his back 50 times. Kuro and Kiri doesn't really believe what Iko says, but he threatens to tell this remedy to the human girls, which pisses Kiri off. They tell him not to do it and consider doing what Iko says. Meanwhile, Miso's grandmom and Yuki continue to talk about Negi. Yuki even tell her how Negi appeared today in Shallow Image. They turn into their younger self and talks about Negi, but then grandmom says that Yuki has always been afraid of letting people go, and now she is afraid of letting Toa go. But Miso's grandmom explains it to her, that the bond she share with Toa is special, but he is still learning things right now. After that, she reminds her of what Negi told them, that all it takes is a little courage. Meanwhile, Toa and Iko are in a spring taking bath, and he tell Toa that he is just 13 years old, but legally he is a 85 years old man. Actually, his body fell in coma when he was 13, and from last 72 years he is in coma. He is actually telling all this to Toa, so that girls can buy some time to make up their mind. Meanwhile, the girls are thinking the same, and wanna actually scrub Toa back to win him over. Then, out of nowhere, Karen shows up, and this surprises Iko too, because Karen isn't that interested in Toa. But here she is. Karen says that she is just here to watch, but suddenly she brings out brush and pins Toa to the floor. She starts scrub his back, but just then, Kiri shows up and pushes Karen away. She asks Karen, why is she here, because she wasn't interested at all. But Karen asks her back if she loved Toa. She denies still. Meanwhile, Shino is already scrubbing Toa's back when Miso shows up and throws her away. Soon it turns out to be a battle of who will get to scrub Toa's back. Kuru also shows up, and she grabs Toa away from the group. Kuru explains everything to Toa, but the girls lands on the top of the roof, and a commotion erupts between the group, and they end up knocking Toa to another side of the spring. Yuki shows up while they are busy fighting, and she starts scrubbing Toa's back. The group realize it too late that Yuki has started scrubbing Toa's back, but even after she does it for 50 times, nothing happens. So the girls get relaxed, and Iko says that it was just a bluff, which pisses the girls and they run after him. Meanwhile, Toa still wanna speak about his grandfather, but Yuki tell him that they will speak later about it. Meanwhile, Shino sit down with Miso to talk about their competition on who will have Toa. Miso says that she has hurt all over the place, but she is actually in love with the immortal being Toa, but she promised she will protect Shino because she appears a weakling, but that doesn't mean she will let her have Toa. That evening, Toa meets Yuki and she appears in her normal self, but he asks her on why she choose to look like Hat. Yuki tell him that she wanna tell him something, so she wanted to be in her true form. Toa then decides to ask a question first. He asks Yuki if she was ever in love with his grandfather Nagi. Yuki says that there is no need to hide anything from him, and answers that yes, she loved Nagi, and she even love him now. She then adds that the Nagi who appeared the other day is not the Nagi she loves. She says that Nagi defeated an evil wizard 20 years ago. The wizard was known as the Life Maker, or the Mage of Beginning. Her name was Beth, and she takes over whoever defeats her, and this gives her the chance to keep on living. This simply means Nagi has been possessed by the mage, although Nagi's shear will stop her for past 20 years. But Yuki feels that he has reached his limits now, and the mage has started to take over his body. Yuki and Fate both want to save him, but their methods are different, and that's the reason they go their separate ways. Toa then points out that Nagi was trying to tell him something before he disappeared. Yuki then tells the truth that it is true that Fate was the one who caused that accident 2 years back, but it wasn't Toa's parents who died in the crash that night. This shocks him, and he asks, does that mean my parents are alive? But then Yuki tell him the ultimate truth. He wasn't born like normal human, but was created 2 years back, using the genetic pool of Nagi. That means he is simply the clone of Nagi. Toa is absolutely surprised to hear that. He tells everything Yuki said to Kuru, and says that he thought he doesn't remember anything about his family. But the truth was that he never had any family. Kuru tries to cheer him, saying, no matter what, you are still the real Toa. While he is saying all this to Kuro, Miso barges into the room to invite Toa to the Mahora martial arts tournament that is taking place in the capital. They arrives at the location, and Toa is super hyped to be there. Miso tell him how the tournament works, and how the immortals and mortals with different powers participate together in the tournament. She tell him that the main tournament is next year, and the finals will be at the top of the tower. Toa excitedly asks her if he could participate in it too. She says yes, you can. All you have to do is to win the pre-tournament today. Toa immediately starts looking for the registration building, where he can register his name. Meanwhile, Kuru is surprised to see Toa so excited, because he was depressed some moments before. Kiri asks Kuro about why was Toa depressed. When Kuru refuses to tell her, she manages to pull his collar to spell out the truth. But Kuru still denies. On the other hand, one of the staff member Toa found informs him that the participants of the tournaments are chosen in advance, and the only way he can get in when one of the participant no longer wishes to contest. Toa is sad to hear this, but decides that he will enter the tournament the following year, which will give him a chance to be even stronger. They both are still talking when her great-grandmother, Aya, shows up. She is accompanied by Chacha and the director of the tournament, Mana. She is also the head mistress of the school, and Toa is surprised to learn that The place he is standing in is a school. Mana then lets him know that his grandpa, Negi, was a teacher in this school 80 years ago, and they all were his students. Back at the headquarters, Shinu has found out that everyone is out today to the capitals and she is all alone. She also hears Yuki and Karen also leaves for the capital together, so Shino decides to go as well. Meanwhile, Aya and the other two ladies take Toa to the classroom, where his grandfather taught. They tell him that Negi started teaching when he was just 10 years old. He was called as a child teacher back in those days. Suddenly, another student of Professor Negi appears before Toa, Sayo, who greets him, but Toa looks at her legs. He assumes that she might be a ghost, as he can see through her legs. Just then, Kiri and Kuro shows up and are surprised to see Miso all alone. She tells them that her great-grandmother was the one who took Toa away, and suspects that her grandmother might be doing something naughty with Toa. Thinking of her past lover Negi. Back in the classroom, Aya gets up from her wheelchair and walks towards Toa. She is really happy to have been alive to meet Negi's grandson. Toa tries to tell her that he is not Negi's real grandson, but Aya tell him that it doesn't matter because she see him exactly like Negi's grandson. The ladies tell him that if Negi was alive, he would have accepted Toa just as his grandson, and Toa is really happy to see how much they all trusted Negi. Afterwards, the ladies take turns hugging him, just so that they can get a feel for Negi from Toa. Just then, Mana receives a call that tells her that two of the contenders are injured, but they have been able to get one replacement, and they only need one more person. Mana looks at Toa and says she has gotten the right person as replacement. It is now time for the battle, and the stadium is filled with people and Toa is the first contestant, who is happy to be participating, while Kiri and Kuro ask Miso if she did something to get Toa in the tournament. She denies, after which they start cheering for Toa. Toa is now in the ring and his opponent is introduced. His opponent name is Cutlass, and he is wearing a hoodie. Toa looks at him and wonders. Cutlass looks familiar. Anyway, the battle begins and Toa is the first to charge towards Cutlass, but he easily dodges the attack. Toa is shocked to see this and says how lucky he is to have come across a strong opponent like Cutlass. Cutlass smirks and calls Toa a clueless idiot. The battle then resumes between the two, and he strikes Toa hard, but Kuro starts getting scared about this. He gets the feeling that Cutlass seems bloodthirsty. At the same time, Mana learns from the participants that the person who injured him was Cutlass. Back to the battleground. The battles between the two is really intense, and it appears that Toa is losing the battle. Cutlass charges towards Toa, throwing him flying up and then pushing on the ground. He charges again at Toa, and this time, he is unable to dodge it and Cutlass cuts him in half. Kiri gets really worried and asks Kuro to do something about it, but Kuro says that a powerful barrier surrounds the stage, and even Kuro isn't strong enough to break it. Toa manages to revive again and activate the Maria Arabia, but this is still not enough to match Cutlass's power and skills, because he still manages to put his sword in Toa. Cutlass uses a spell that releases several poles to impale Toa and pin him down. He even makes fun of Toa and calls him his brother. He also calls him the fake version of grandfather Negi. He speaks trash to Toa, how he is just a cheap copy and how he has always been a nobody and will always be that. Cutlass tell him that he will only be a monster, nothing else. Just then, Toa's friends start to motivate him, cheering him to stand back up and fight. With their motivation, Toa is able to free his left arm and delivers a blow to Cutlass' face to get rid of his hoodie. He is shocked to find out that Cutlass is a girl. Just then, Cutlass says she is just an opening act, and out of nowhere someone starts to appear behind Cutlass. The person is none other than Negi himself, Toa's grandfather. The first thing he does is to make Toa shirtless. Everyone is shocked to see Negi there, but Mana knows that the person they are looking at is Negi, but not exactly him. She is the mage the beginning, and she has come for Toa. Negi then says that he has come for Toa because he is the only one who can save the world, but Toa argues that Negi would have come for him sooner if they really wanted him. Negi then reveals that he had no idea where Toa was, and he only sent out vision of himself to those who shared his blood with the hope that they would find him. Negi then tell him that Toa was always hidden from him by his own master Yuki. Just then Yuki shows up and destroys the barrier with her spell, and this shows how powerful she is. Yuki doesn't address him as Negi, but call him as the mage of the beginning. Suddenly they bind Yuki with magic, and just then two other comrades of Beth shows up, and another of Beth's comrades lands there too. At the same time, Kuro, Karen both shows up to support Toa and Yuki. Meanwhile, Kiri throws Toa's sword back to him. No, it is a battle between two powerful groups. Yuki tell Toa that Beth and her team will be hard to beat, but Towa is now pumped and ready to fight. He challenges Beth that he will not let his team loose at any condition. Yuki then start to introduce Nega's comrades to her team. The old seeing mind reader, Notuka, the magical detective known as Yua, and the strongest mercenary swordsman ever is called Jack. In addition to this, is a powerful comrade Negi himself, whose power exceeds everyone. Just then Negi sneezes, and this rips off everyone's cloths, including everyone in the audience. This shows Towa and everyone else present how powerful Negi is. At the same time, Shino arrives on the scene using her motorboat. Meanwhile, Kiri tells everyone that they don't really need to fight, because if they want Towa to go with the just convince him, but Notuka, who can read minds, reads Kira's thoughts that says she is just trying hint an idea, but Notuko still tries to convince Towa to come with them peacefully because he is the only successful creation after 71 failed attempts to combine Negus genes. Towa refuses this completely. Just then, a voice appears from behind and suddenly a portal appears and suck Towa in, and Towa suddenly finds himself in another place. He then sees an injured Yuki in her original form and runs to rescue her, but as soon as she goes, the era changes again. Towa then comes face to face with a guy who introduces himself as Kuno, but just then, his sword appears and says that the guy's real name is not Kuno. His real name is Albero, and he is actually the one who created that sword. Albero gets angry that the sword let out his secret and he punishes it, putting it under a black hole's pressure. After he is done punishing Korobo, Albero tells Towa that he is Yuki's old friend, but he is now working for Negi. His mission is to convince Towa, and the best way he can do is to show him Yuki's love story. Albero shows him how Yuki met Nagi, who is Nagi's father, and fell in love with him. For months, Yuki followed Nagi wherever he went. 15 years later, Yuki also met Nagi's son at Mahora Academy. And just like that, Yuki took Nagi under her wings. Because he wanted to be stronger, she even made him do weird things, all in the name of training him. And the only person who always came to Nega's rescue is Asuna. Even after this, their bond continued to grow stronger, and he became Yuki's student. After touching Negi compassionately, Yuki starts walking away. She blushes and smiles like never before. So Towa thanks Albero for showing him the images from the past. However, Albero says that he isn't showing him the images from the past. Just then Yuki in her true form sees Towa and recognizes him, and before anything else could happen, Beth shows up and grabs Yuki before Towa could do anything about it. He is impaled by Albero, and Beth cuts Yuki into 2 pieces and throws her to the ground. Towa is also thrown to the ground, and he tries to crawl towards Yuki. Beth says that the only way Towa can save Yuki is to become one with her. Towa then manages to hold Yuki's hand, and she manages to get herself back together. Towa carries her in his hands, and Yuki confesses that Towa is the person she has always wanted to be with. She burst in tears saying she just wanted one person to walk with for the rest of her life. Towa then remembers her words from 2 years ago when he had an accident. Yuki said the same thing, on how she wants him to be with him. Towa assures and hugs Yuki saying he will always be there for her, but Beth believes that Yuki has no chance at happiness. Towa scolds Beth for saying something like that, and Beth angrily attacks them, and Towa, who is carrying Yuki in his hands, dodges the ferocious attacks. But now, Yuki gets back in her senses, and lets Towa know that they are in a dimension of Beth's brain, where she holds all the power. Whatever she imagines will come to pass. Yuki then says that they will use it against her. So she uses a spell to create an even space, so that they can both use their strength to fight each other. Yuki says that breaking Beth's mind in this dimension will be the end of her, so Towa gets ready with his sword to attack. They both charges towards Beth, but Beth easily distracts Yuki with the image of Nagi. With that, both Yuki and Towa are knocked to the ground by a spell by Beth disguised as Nagi. During the fight, Yuki slips up and let Towa know that she has only loved 3 men in her 700-year life. Towa lacks the wisdom to figure out that the third person is himself, and gets a hit from Yuki. The fight continues, and Yuki is able to hit Beth with a powerful spell. However, this is still not enough to take her out. Meanwhile, Towa also tries to hit her, but again is hit back. Just then Towa is dragged into a abyss by images of Karen and the other girls. All of them begs Towa to come with them and save them. He knows it well that this is one of the attacks of Beth's imaginations, but he finds it hard to defend against this. Out of nowhere, Asuna shows up and pulls Towa up by destroying the dark dimension of Beth's mind, revealing a clear view of the surrounding. She then introduces herself to Toa, and he immediately figures out that the person he is looking at is his grandmother because Natuko told him that he is the genetic combination of Negi and Asuna. Yuki is surprised to see Asuna because she was supposed to be on Mars. Asuna says that her real body is still on Mars and she was able to turn from inside Toa because Beth was screwing with some things inside of him. Asuna then hugs Yuki because it's been a long time since they last saw each other. Just then Karen and Rest also gets in there. Beth tries to attack them, but Asuna easily blocks off the attack. She then tells the team that they have only been in this dimension for less than a second. She says the real fight will start once they leave this dimension. Before leaving, she tells each of them the weakness of the opponents who they will be facing. Asuna then tells Toa that the power that resides inside of him is the only thing that can destroy Beth. He has 37 seconds to get the power to come up soon. Beth flies over to attack them, but Asuna cuts down the imaginary dimension to let the team back in the real world so that the battle can begin. Kiri is facing off against Jack, and she has been told to go for his eyes. And Asuna also told him how sensitive he is on his abs, so she does it, and they are able to knock him down. Kuro, who replicates herself in many of her forms, but then Yua and her sister reads her mind and holds her. But as Kuro remembers the instructions from Asuna, she is also able to take Yua and her sister Kanoko out of commission by using a binding spell on them. Meanwhile, Yuki also traps Cutlass with an ice barrier. On the other hand, Toa activates his Arabia powers and charges towards Negi, but Negi dodges his initial attack. As Negi attack him from behind, he tell Toa to come with him, but Toa is determined to save his grandfather first from Beth's bondage. Meanwhile, the team continues to battle it out with Negi's comrades. They aim to keep them busy till Toa is able to access the power inside of him. On the other hand, as Toa accesses the power inside of him, just as Negi is about to overpower Toa, Fate shows up. Surprisingly, Fate and Yuki will be working together in this. Fate and Yuki are able to hold Negi down. Fate creates a barrier around them and uses this to pull out their consciousness. Negi's real self is able to come out as well. Fate tells Negi that he has found a way to free him from Beth's bondage, and the key to that is Toa. But Negi reminds Fate that he is now part of Beth, and there is nothing that they can do other than terminating him. But Fate argues with him that they are doing all this just to save him, so how can they even terminate him? Fate tell him not to do this, after which Negi turns to Toa and says that it's a strange feeling knowing he has a grandson. Negi is just discussing with them when Toa stops him and tells him to pay attention to Yuki because she has missed him. Yuki instantly jumps to hug Negi. Negi tells Toa that he seems a good kid and he is about to tell him something. When their connections get severed, they come back to their real self. They try to keep Negi in a wall, but he easily breaks out it. Negi's body turns white and starts to glow. He easily attacks Trio without using much efforts. Finally, Toa's 37 seconds is up, and he is now able to use the same power like his grandfather. However, Kuro and others are already suffering from Notuko and Jack's attacks and their allies, who hit Toa's team badly. Meanwhile, Toa flies away from the arena, but Negi chases after him. They take their fight to the sky, destroying the tower. Negi attacks Toa with a strong magic, completely blasting up the entire tower, and the debris falls down on the people including Shino, who dodges it by inches. Toa then charges towards his grandfather and hits him in the face. He scolds him for losing himself to Beth. He hits Negi again and again, and is determined to save him from Beth's bondage. But just then Jack shows up and impales Toa with a giant sword, after which he falls back in the arena. Inside the arena, every single member of the team is beaten up and weak already. Negi is about to terminate Toa when Kiri jumps in between them. Just as she do it, Negi stops his weapon. Kiri reminds him of what her powers is, and he start walking towards her. He gets close to her and smiles, because it is very clear that she is in love with Toa, but she denies it again. Yua and Notuko read her thoughts out loud, but she gets all flustered and still denies it, as she turn around to justify herself to Toa. Cutlass pushes her sword into Kiri and starts torturing her brutally, while Toa watches her helplessly. Toa continue to struggle to break free while Kiri is in extreme pain. Cutlass continue torturing her, giving her immense pain. She takes out each teeth and throws it to Toa, while he just watches. Moments later, Kiri reminds him that they have stalled long enough now, and it is now time to reveal their true intentions. The entire group suddenly finds themselves in Mahora. 80 years into the past, Negi is then shot with some magic ceiling bullets, followed by the rope ceiling by the students who were already waiting for him. His students attacks him one by one, but he dodges all the attacks from them. But the students doesn't stop there. They keeps attack, but all they get is failure, as Negi is really tough opponent. The students shows him how much he means to them. After that they heal Toa too from all his injuries. At the same time, they manages to pull off a big distraction, which gives them a chance to inject Negi with a substance via injection that makes him weak. Negi doesn't understand how all the people including Yuki standing in front of him, so they reveal that they have been inside of Toa and they have just taken form now. For now, it turns out that Toa is not made up of Negi and Asuna genes alone. All the girls who have been in Class 3A have their gene in Toa's formation. He is basically their child, as much he is of Negus. Asuna also shows up, and she hugs Negi and they are transferred to another location. She get close to him and says, "I missed you," and Negi realizes that things are no longer going his way. She thanks Yua and Notoko for sticking to Negi, and wanna join him too. Negi tells Asuna that they are willing to withdraw for now. He tells Toa that he will still be waiting for him at the top of the tower. After saying this, a bright light appears, and this takes Negi and his team back to the tower. After his departure, Toa and his team find themselves back in the arena. The majority of the area is destroyed, but it appears that there is no single causality, because Jinbe was able to get everyone out harmless, but he doesn't reveal the technique he uses. Iko also take everyone out safely with the help of Shino, who uses her motor vehicle. Fate also returned to where he is, but he tells Yuki not to get in his way next time. Yuki simply tells him that she cannot promise anything. Toa looks up the tower and promises Negi that he will be coming to him the next time they meet. After things are settled, Kiri insists that her confession of love to Toa was a way of stalling Negi and his people. Shortly after, Toa goes straight to Yuki's office to tell her that he loves her. Yuki immediately gets up and punches him, but Toa comes running back into the office and says that he made that decision when he saw her crying earlier. He says that he wanna walk with her for thousands of years, which leaves Yuki all red. He proposes her, but Yuki simply refuses his proposal, leaving him flabbergasted. Just then all the girls goes after him saying, how dare him propose to the mistress, and throws him out of the building, chasing after him. Meanwhile, Yuki is blushing and says, "You are 500 years late, Toa." That's all for today. If you want the next part, comment next part. We'll make it once this video hits 10,000 likes. Also, tell us which character you like the most in the comments, and thanks for watching. You guys are the best.